Today, in our Grand Angle segment, we're talking about the Commonwealth Games, a multi-sport event held every 4 years featuring athletes from over 50 countries. And from over 50 countries, I beg you a pardon, the city of Durban in South Africa was awarded the Games in September 2015 and was due to be the first African city to host the event. But according to the chief executive of the Commonwealth Games Federation, David Gravenberg, the city did not meet the criteria set by his organization, and the search for a new host city had already begun. We speak about this to Antoinette Muller, a sports commentator based in Johannesburg in South Africa. What led South Africa losing the bid to host the Commonwealth tournament?
So firstly, the South African government and the organizers of the Commonwealth Games 2022 couldn't agree with an operational budget with the Commonwealth Games Federation. The government and everyone else say they budgeted about 4 billion for the Commonwealth Games, and they believe that would be adequate based on having hosted the All Africa Games previously. The Commonwealth Games Federation said that wasn't nearly enough, and they wanted almost double that, which isn't really a surprise because Glasgow cost about 11 billion rand. So it's something that's been ongoing for some time now. Since South Africa were awarded the rights, there were also lots of failures to meet deadlines. You know, they didn't put a local organizing committee together until ages after the 180-day deadline. So it's sort of been a build-up of stuff since 2015.
Voilà, Antoinette Muller, pensez-vous
Well,
que
Antoinette,
la situation politique
just
en Afrique
do you think politicians or the political situation of the country has something to do with Durban losing this bid?
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily South Africa's political situation per se, but I do think politicians certainly played a role. I've seen some reports this morning that suggested the local organised committee that was put forward by the South African government didn't actually contain or didn't actually have any members of SASCOC, which is our Olympic organisational committee. So I think, as you mentioned in Africa, politics always plays a role. And I think that the government certainly in a way wanted the glory for themselves in making Durban the first African city to host the Commonwealth Games, which is it would have been a great thing, It's got such great potential, and the legacy that was proposed from there would have been great. But I think this was, the government wanted the glory.
And the last question, what will be the impact of this decision, given that South Africa is one country that is always looked up to as the most developed to host international events?
Yeah, South Africa's been really successful in hosting a number of great sporting tournaments. They've hosted the Rugby World Cup, the Soccer World Cup, the Cricket World Cup. They've hosted All African Games. They've stepped in to host things like the Africa Cup of Nations when someone needed a backup. And somewhat concerningly, they are currently bidding for the Rugby World Cup in 2023. But the problem there is the current president of the South African Rugby Union was on the bid committee for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. And as we speak, the guys who are assessing the bid are actually in the country and, analysing South Africa's bid and so forth. But I don't think it's going to be a big thing because I have hosted the Rugby World Cup before. The concern there is, and I'm not sure if you know anything about this, but the sports minister actually banned a number of South Africa's sporting unions of bidding for events because of their failure to transform. But yet the sports minister, Fikile Mbalula, was on the same sort of panel as the guys bidding for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. So it's all, I hate to sound stereotypical, but it's all very African at the moment.